Hi, I'm Abby. This is Two Cents Babe, and this is.
Komal, nice to have you back.
And today, what are we going to be talking about?
We're gonna start by talking about male and female aggression, the difference between it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, I was just on the car right down here to do this, basically, and I was talking with a friend, and she experienced this like somebody being really aggressive, and he started punching things, he started like fucking with the car as it was moving.
With the car driver?
Yeah,
Like a cab
she was the
driver?
one who was driving. And it
Okay.
was a friend.
Okay.
Anyways, it got me thinking about all the times I've seen men get into fights and then I've seen women get into fights, or women expressing anger and then men expressing anger. And like a big difference that I saw between the way that men fight physically and the way that women fight physically, men want to draw blood.
Yeah,
They
they
want
essentially
to
want to kill you.
break things.
Yeah.
With women, it's a lot of hair pulling, it's open hand slaps, which isn't like your full force, even. You know what I mean?
And I feel like as a girl who has beat up a lot of men, I instantly feel guilty
Yeah.
when I do it.
Yeah.
Even if I've just slapped someone who has harassed me,
Yeah.
I feel bad for that person.
I've seen a lot of men feel proud of it. Like, I broke his nose, yeah, मैंने उसे मार दिया, blah, 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 blah. Like, stupid shit like that. It's kind of scary.
No, all the times that I've heard these boys talk about their paddas and all of that in school and high school and university time growing up, it's such a proud moment for them.
Exactly.
Like, हमने उसका सर खोल दिया and I'm just like, that's nothing to be like, happy about.
You know, when I was in Edinburgh, like, I feel like girls are different in Edinburgh and they're a little bit
Really?
ratchet, you know what I mean?
Wow.
So I've met girls who are proud of shit, like, there are women who exist like that as well. Especially in a country like Pakistan, Jen, I feel like our women are like a little bit different over here. The culture
More
is
poised,
different.
are you saying?
Yeah, but I feel like it's also like, women are more streamlined here because there are way more like barriers here. There's a lot more surveillance here. I feel like the reason I saw women being more aggressive or more able to like express their aggression and be okay with it over there was because like the culture is more like different. You can
Yeah.
do more things. Yeah, but there's a lot of like feminine policing, you know what I mean?
But don't you think like in a country like Pakistan where people get away with murder,
Yeah.
I feel like it would be a lot easier for women. Not that I'm saying anything is easy
Yeah,
for women
yeah.
in this country, to be honest. Nothing is. But I feel like getting away with shit like that, not getting away, that's saying it.
Getting away with anything in Pakistan is easy.
Yeah.
But I'm saying just like what's a dominant culture for both genders, what it is. You know what I mean? And
I
you
think
can-
it's not a good look for women when
Over
they do.
here,
Yeah,
yeah.
over here.
But actually, I don't think it's a good look for anyone anywhere.
To be
you know what I
honest,
mean?
it's true,
So
yeah.
it might be coming from a place that's a bit controlled and suppressed, but I don't feel like it's a bad effect.
Yeah, yeah. No, I do because I'm a very aggressive person. Not generally, but when
You
provoked.
have like yeah.
I've had episodes when provoked, but also मेरा build up होता है. Like I don't get angry or aggressive चलते फिरते, but मेरा build up होता है, and when it does come out, it's rage. It's pure rage. And I guess like, but वो एक उसके बाद एक point के बाद frustration के बाद आता है, and I feel like most women here are like that.
Yeah.
If they are pushed to that point, if they're just they can't take it anymore, then the aggression comes out. But with men, it's just one look or one snide comment, and they're like down to fucking kill each other.
Yeah, and I feel like
But there's also a huge difference in when they make up. When men make up, they make up. Women don't make up.
But it's also because, like, it's such raw aggression. Like, for example, take two men have fought, you know what I mean? And then they're friends again. But it's probably because, like, I feel like male aggression, a lot of the times, does result to physical aggression more so than, at least in
100%.
Pakistan, jo hai na, कि, like, women will not go into brawls. It's more uncommon, you know what I mean? Especially comparing it to UK culture, I don't know what is this coming up again. Like, girls are really different.
Yeah,
Girls like
okay.
threaten me like I'm gonna beat you up, and I'm
Yeah.
like, what the hell?
Yeah.
So, for sure.
But I also think it's deceptive energy when they like makeup.
Yeah.
When men make up, it's just surface level wala makeup. I don't make up with women because I feel like I cannot deceive my inner sort of thing about them.
But maybe it's also because like the aggression doesn't come out in such a raw and pure form, so probably it still lingers for longer. When you punch it out and you've broken somebody's nose, like okay, like you've done the most now.
Yeah, but I feel like for women, it doesn't. And I don't think so. It doesn't. It can't go back to us being friends. Usually.
That's probably because there's still aggression lingering there.
अगर किसी को मुक्का शुक्का भी मार दिया मैं उसके बाद भी बात कर रही हूँ. Like if I've had like sort of a cat fight with somebody and I've had a lot of those, I've never stayed friends with those people.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Even if we've made up
then,
like upar
but maybe, but okay, were you somebody who's easily like raged back then? Like, you know, for example, do you feel like you had, because what I've seen is like, you know, men will get into physical fights over like anything and everything.
That's
you know
true.
What I mean?
That's
so,
true.
Do you feel like you had a bigger reason for you to come to a physical fight?
But as a teenager, I was just more aggressive.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
वो ये नहीं था चलते फिरते aggression नहीं निकल रही थी, but like still it was still a build up, but I was way more aggressive. My emotions are in control now, regulated हो गया ना हम लोग.
Yeah.
When we grow up, I suppose.
I mean, you just get evened out, I feel like.
Yeah.
And also you have more on your plate.
Yeah, exactly.
How are you feeling about the roadblocks?
They were a nightmare because there was a lot to do in the city. There was work to be done, classes, you know, that I had to go to, a family wedding that I had to attend, and the roads were constantly blocked. It was a nightmare getting around them. Wrong se aao, jao, blah blah blah. But
especially आपको अगर रास्तों का पता नहीं है ना, you
Yeah.
know what I mean? For a person like me using
Yeah.
Google Maps, it's like hell to get out these
because the
days.
internet wasn't working.
Yeah. But my saving grace has been that I've been taking cabs, but they're also so expensive these days, it's crazy.
Yeah,
But yeah, I don't even, basically they block the roads because it's on protest, right?
yeah.
But I don't see any protesters.
Though they blocked the entry points to the city, so there was nothing actually happening in the city.
Okay.
The political party was waiting
So
outside.
they are serving a purpose, I guess.
I
But
mean-
I mean, they're not serving. Some of the places they place them in do not make any sense. You're just creating a burden for the citizens.
But वही मैं कह रही हूँ ना, if you've like blocked entry to the city, why are you blocking things
In the
inside
city.
the city?
Especially like, I get it if there's an active threat going on,
Yeah.
fine. But
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just stupid.
No, but it all comes down to male aggression, I feel like.
At the end of the day.
Yeah. I don't think if women were in power, they'd do any of this. They'd be like, यार आओ अपना protest करो, चुप करके और चले जाओ वापस.
I feel like actually that's one fact of it, but if we're gonna go into that, like the biggest issue is the fact that we're not a global, like, you know, nation. Everybody's so
Yeah.
divided कि like everybody's just kind of fending for themselves. Resources जो है ना, मतलब कि किसी जगह पे sparse है, neighboring country में जो है ना, like उधर इतनी ज़्यादा पड़ी हुई है लेकिन साथ में लोग मर रहे हैं.
Yeah.
So the biggest issue is that just like general division. So, and you can like, you know, you can talk about it on a like, you know, level of earth, like okay, we have countries and that's the division. But even in cities, we have different beliefs, like Sunnis, we have Shias, and we have different political beliefs, and we have different political agendas, and like there's so much division.
Yeah.
When what is that actually gonna do? Like all there really is to life is like survival at the end of the day, and even that's to a certain point. You're all gonna go out. Why are we at each other's throats?
I just feel like it's all power, it's all money. Yeah, there's nothing, like people just want everything, not people, the governments just.
People who are actually in charge.
Yeah.
That's a problem, first
Yeah.
of all.
Yeah.
Why are there people in charge? I feel like everybody is quite capable. I am a big person, like, you know, in an ideal world, I would really like, you know, it should be a community and everybody should like kind of fit into their own place, but this whole idea of governments and shit, they're usually not set up for like public interest, you know what I
They're
mean?
not.
And people keep voting into them, people keep voting into these systems, and people keep like basically the layman who doesn't actually have any power is the one that's running this whole machinery.
Yeah,
You know
but
what I
if
mean?
you remove governments and if you remove borders and if you let people be, don't you think there would be a lot more crime happening?
But I feel like even now that we have all these systems in place, do you think we're getting a lot of justice? Are the crimes
No.
not happening?
They're still happening, but I feel like a lot of people stay in check and stay in their lane because of that.
I feel like अगर ये चीजें ना होती ना, इतनी बड़ी atrocities ना हो रही होती.
I
We
mean,
wouldn't
something
be.
like nukes and war and all of
That
that.
would not be happening.
That would not be happening.
Brawls ज़्यादा हो रहे होते, stealing
Yeah.
शायद ज़्यादा हो रही होती, शायद जो है ना, people are more down to murder each other. But at the end of the day, I feel like those are still fair obstacles to come into जो है ना somebody's life. Those are very like raw human things. This whole big political agendas, this war over money, war over resources, and war over land, like that is not in the interest of anybody.
It's
actually.
not. It's only in the interest of the people in the power.
I would much rather have like normal anarchy rather than these big like systematical exploitation going
लेकिन
on.
देखो मैं वही सोच रही हूँ कि normal anarchy would also like explode at some point. All these people who are murdering and butchering and doing petty theft and all of that,
Let me tell
they
you.
would think they're in power though.
Because there was this study done that we have this idea that, you know, they did a survey where they asked people that, what do you think would happen in a crisis? You know what I mean? And everybody said that, like, oh my god, they thought there would be anarchy, कोई system नहीं है, you know, that nobody would be helping each other and everybody would be looking out for themselves. लेकिन 911 reporters जो वहाँ पे थे ना, जितने भी लोग and survivors की उन्होंने जब उनसे testimonies ली, they said like it was chaos, the building is falling, it's collapsing, people are dying, but everybody was helping each other out.
100%.
Everybody was going down in a line. कोई
Yeah.
पीछे रह गया, कोई गिर गया, उसकी मदद करने की कोशिश कर रहे थे. So I feel like media like is constantly portraying like, you know, the worst things that are happening, and it's like, you know, politicize कर रहे हैं चीजों को, and they're giving you like so much brainwashing that we turn against each other. They portray so much division, they portray so many ideas that don't have anything to do with regular life, that people think that the other person is bad, you know. If we
Yeah.
didn't have these systems in place, we would like kill each other. Well, that's probably not true. Yes, it would exist, but I feel like I would like to believe in the humanity of people, especially if we didn't have these systems that were constantly draining us.
I do believe that in a state of actual panic, there's a lot more people who come to help. वो 2006 के जो earthquakes हुए थे जो पाकिस्तान में, like it destroyed a lot of like buildings and cities and houses, and people were like क्या कहते हैं, essentially homeless. A lot of aid was collected throughout Pakistan. There's a lot more people helping. And not just that, I feel like जो तुम मीडिया की बात कर रहे हो, इसमें ये मसला है that media in any case portrays, they sensationalize everything. Like पाकिस्तान को जिस light में portray करते हैं, people who come from abroad, people like जो west से आते हैं, they have a very different view of how we live our lives, how we are here, you know. But once they like come here, they spend time with us and they like, you know, travel the country, it's completely different for them. And it's only because of media. And I feel like journalism needs to be done so responsibly. It's one, like मैं कुछ चीज़ों को उस category में डालती हूँ, like doctors and journalists and like these people who have the power to sort of save other people. They need to do it very responsibly. But journalism's responsible नहीं है. बहुत कम लोग हैं जो actually करते हैं इस तरह.
That's again because the thing is, right? People in power. I'm pretty sure you can find an article for anything.
Yeah.
You know, there are so many personal bloggers, and अगर आप मतलब कि country के बारे में देख रहे हैं, don't go to fucking like CBS.
No, but exactly. But people get killed for speaking the truth.
Exactly.
So it's about people in power.
But it's also about कि like ये system जो in place हैं, like, you know, first अब देखो जब medieval times से, तो like when there is a performance, like, you know, it's a man like probably standing by a fountain, and जो है ना, जो 10 लोग आसपास किसी ने अगर सुन लिया जाए ना, then they're gonna stand and they're gonna watch it and they're gonna appreciate it.
Yeah.
Now we have like talent management companies, record labels, and so much. They all have funding from different places,
Yeah.
funding from people with agendas. Even art is so politicized now
Yeah.
that we are constantly being brainwashed to stay into like some sort of capitalist like days.
So टेक्नोलॉजी का भी तो मैं यही समझती हूँ, आपका जो सोशल मीडिया है, आपका जितना भी एवरीथिंग ऑन द इंटरनेट, आई फील लाइक इट हैज सम काइंड ऑफ अ पॉलिटिकल एजेंडा. आपने टिकटॉक को बैन कर दिया अपने उसमें बिकॉज यू नो पीपल वर डूइंग व्हाटएवर, सेइंग व्हाटएवर ऑन द इंटरनेट बिकॉज यू आर जस्ट ट्राइंग टू टेक अवे पीपल्स वॉइसेस. लाइक आप उनके फ्रीडम आप लेना चाह रहे हो.
अब देखो, I feel like all of these systems that are in place that are enforcing what we have to do in life, enforcing what we have to think about in life, are also seeping into personal relationships. Like I
Yeah.
know, I can like have the best time with somebody, and I can have a connection with them, and they can fulfill me, and they're funny, blah 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 blah. Like we live in a system where like that's not all that matters. You need someone who can provide, you need someone who is like stable, someone who's smart in the systems of the world. And you know, you have to disregard so many people because you know it's easy to fulfill the emotional. But
Yeah.
it's not, you know, the world is so, it's like a maze, it's like a game. You have to like have so many skills, you have to like think about mortgage, how am I gonna get a house, मेरी income क्या होगी, खाना जो ज़मीन से निकल रहा है उसको जो है ना अपने fridge के अंदर लाने के लिए I have to spend like 40 hours or above जो है ना putting into an industry where it's not gonna do anything for me. Two completely unrelated things. I have to spend time there to get a resource that's coming from the ground.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not about emotionality anymore.
No, it's not.
Like even relationships, you cannot sustain them, especially romantic relationships में जब आते हैं, all of these systems are, even love is politicized now. Even love is like capitalized now. You know what I mean?
100%. They turn a business in for everything.
Yeah.
Like it's just, you know, just how you said Valentine's Day साल में एक दफा होता है, and they have all of this like marketing strategies and whatnot just for that one day, just to get like couples to like pay more or pay extra or do extra even, when throughout the year you might not be the best partner ever or like at all, and then on that one day you're doing all this stuff for your partner. Like I don't believe in that. I feel like if you're not in a fulfilled sort of relationship throughout the year, that one day, Valentine's Day, it's jack shit. But I do feel like for some people, emotional fulfillment is harder than practical fulfillment. Like, for example, if you make a certain amount of money and if you have a certain amount of resources, I feel like practically you're good to go.
Yeah.
You know, like you have everything at home, aapka sab kuch sorted hai, your utilities are paid for, you have helpers, blah blah blah. But I feel like with such people, emotional fulfillment, thodi si, it's harder to come by.
Yeah, 100%. They call the dilemma that you don't have is gonna transform into one that you do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, lekin, I don't know. I see it in this way as well, na, कि like people जो आपकी emotional fulfillment कर सकते हैं ना, even like, you know, because they know that in a world that requires so much for you to be an actual and a sustainable partner, like I feel like they probably doubt their own sincerity as well because they know that they can only fulfill the emotional, they cannot fulfill the practical. Just because they're so caught up in the emotional that they don't have the assets to provide the practical. You know what I mean? Or they're so triggered by the emotional and it takes up so much time and space to work around it that they cannot put enough time into the practical. Same thing with practical people. वो इतना जो है ना पैसे बनाने के अंदर और sustainability create करने के अंदर जो है ना busy होते हैं that they don't have time to nurture their own emotionality. Therefore, they can't give it to other people. So it's like, it feels like such a lost cause sometimes, which
does.
isn't. I don't want to put out this like feeling of doomsday. Like I've seen people who are happy and I've seen people who can manage both.
Yeah.
But I do feel like things are really trivialized.
Yeah, but I feel like it comes back to capitalism. I feel like people who are chasing all of this like practical stuff, they really don't want the emotional stuff. There's like a lot of people that I know as well that who only want to have the money, the house, the car, all of those luxury items, but none of the love, none of the emotion, none of the vulnerability. You know, they just refuse to be, you know, a part of that because that makes them look weak. And in the kind of times that we're living, having all those things, a car and a house and property and gold and all of that, that is what gives you that kind of superiority, or that makes you better, or that makes you more like sort of upstanding in society.
Like you were saying, कि Jayana, these people they only want that, but I feel like that's, you're right. Like that is the expression that is coming about. But I feel like a lot of these people, you will see they're sad. You know what I mean?
They are though.
So, but that's the thing. It's because sometimes I feel like I could be really rich. I'm not stupid. I like have the ability to work and I can do so many things. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
You
since,
value other things.
Huh. But for me, if I was able to kill some of those parts in me, Jahana, if I was able to suppress some of those Jahana emotionalities of mine, I would be able to be more of a practical person, be more of a part of actual society, you know what I mean? The way that it's running. So I feel like a lot of the people who are in those systems and who are really making it, girl bossing, whatever you want to say, like, they're able to do it because they're suppressing a lot of their emotionality.
But I feel like as someone who really values work and also partnerships and relationships and love, it has to be a balance. Like, I'm not the richest person out there and I'm still like single, but I do believe that even when whatever I do for work, whatever I do in my relationships, all of it comes down to love. Love for myself, love for having good things in life, love for having great relationships around me. It all comes down to like that sort of emotional factor.
But I don't feel like that's around because you also have a third aspect to yourself, which is spirituality.
That's
You
true.
meditate, you practice gratitude, you have so many wellness activities that you do,
Yeah.
and you also have a lot of awareness. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
So I feel like if you have the three things in like you can't find balance between practicality and emotionality without spirituality.
You're so right. I never thought about it that way. But do you really think so? There's a lot of spiritual people that I know that are not emotionally equipped to deal with most people or most situations. I'm not talking about radical sort of like religious people. I'm just talking about like spiritual people. I know a lot of, but I feel like people fake kar rahe hote hain.
But there's also spectrums of spirituality.
That's
as well,
true.
na?
That's
You can
true.
like have belief and you can have appreciation for like whatever you want to call it, but at the end of the day you might not have a lot of implementation, or you might not have it might be in your heart but it may not be in your actions, or it may be in your actions and it might not be in your heart. You know what I mean?
You're right, because I'm the kind of person who sees things in black and white. I keep forgetting there are people who see things in gray as well.
Yeah.
But
I
yeah.
see like everything in rainbow colors, honestly.
I get it. Like, nahi, mere liye it's either this or that, right or wrong, true or false. There's a lot of gray area that I just don't touch because my brain doesn't go there, like, at all.
I'm really not like that. I'm like,
I
yes,
know.
all of those things exist,
I know.
but it's very situational for me.
Yeah.
Like, I don't believe in a fact. I'm like, yes, this is just even if there is a fact, that's a situation to me, basically.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Give me an example.
For example, किसी को cancer है ना, and they're like 90% chance that this person will die, basically. Some people might take it as it is, but I'm like, I don't take it as it is. I would still take it as a situation. I wouldn't let it inform like, my whole theory on cancer or everybody who has it, or I wouldn't believe like, I don't think anything is definite.
But that's me too. I think in these situations, in certain situations, I do think situationally as well. And that 10% of hope है, मैं तो उस hope पे जिंदा रह लूँगी कि oh my god, yes, there's hope. But I'm talking about like very sort of hard and fast things, like people should be a certain way. You're not supposed to say certain things. You're not supposed to,
देखो, for example, I'll tell you a story.
Okay.
There was this girl, she went to this party and she was trying to talk to her ex, and the ex's girl, like friend, that's a girl, that has a crush on the guy, comes in between them, and she's like, don't talk to him, and she pulls like that girl's hair. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So आप situation में क्या है, जो है ना, like aggression क्या थी कि बाल किसी के खींचे गए हैं.
Yeah.
ठीक है? You could say like factually that's just wrong. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like, situationally, I think that can be so many things.
But I feel like that entire scenario was wrong though.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But again, that action,
Yeah.
yes, it's wrong. It can be right.
Yeah.
It can be neutral. It can be so many things, basically. Now, that's not to say that you need to go into like thinking in like different ways, because you need to be who you want to be, and that does require black and white thinking. So even though I can see in a million colors, which I'm sure you can too, for myself, to maintain my moral compass, to maintain the sort of outlook I want to have, to maintain the sort of image I want to have, I have to keep things black and white for myself at least. You know what I
Why
mean?
not? Like, you need to at least function in black and white,
Yeah,
so that things, when they're in other colors, in other spectrums, you can make some sense of it.
And also, the world will pull you into all directions. You can do anything, you can be anyone, you can say anything. So,
What I mean by black and white, I feel like, is boundaries.
so that's what I'm getting at as well now. कि ability and availability हर चीज की है, and possibility भी हर चीज की है.
Exactly.
But I want to be a certain way.
Exactly.
I want to look a certain way.
Yeah.
I want people to feel a certain way around
Yeah,
me.
exactly.
And that requires like black and white ways of getting to it.
Exactly. But उस sense में I think we're all rainbow colors then.
Yeah. Understanding में तो जो है ना, definitely.
Yeah, because like we But the story reminds me of party culture though.
Oh.
Yeah. What do you think about the party culture here in Islamabad?
I don't like parties that happen in basements. If you have a big house, I'll attend. But I don't know. I feel like यहाँ पे ना, it's a bit different. एक तो the thing is, it's illegal. You know what I mean? No matter what you're doing, it's like it's seen as, there's a different mystical element to when people are doing it, because it's like, oh my god, sneaky, you know what I mean? And it's so unregulated that,
it's thrilling.
You're already breaking the boundaries.
Yeah.
So you're not gonna start with a lot of boundaries.
Yeah.
Over there, like, I feel like everywhere else, like, chalo clubs में तो people do tend to go crazy. Like, bar culture is different, you know what I mean?
100%.
Which is what, if you're having a house party, I feel like what the vibe should be is more bar-like rather than club-like. You know what I mean?
I agree.
But यहाँ पे people don't do that. It's your house usually that you're like doing it at, but it feels like a club. You know what I mean?
For me, the issue with all of this is that वही boundaries वाली बात है एक तो, and दूसरा, like, people have cliques and people have these bubbles that they stay in, and people have these like group of friends that they hang out with who are just into partying, and they don't उससे वो step out करते ही नहीं है. They don't step out of it. It's just that group of people who just likes to party, do substances, all kinds, and just, for me, that's an issue. I'm someone who has multiple groups of friends, and I like to touch each and every one of them. Some of them are these party people, some of them are spiritual, some of them are artists, some of them are, entrepreneurs. But I feel like people don't expand that, especially in Islamabad. If you're in a group of people who likes to party, you will just be stuck in that group of people who likes to party.
Let me tell you, if you are young and you are partying and you're like, oh my god, I will grow out of it and life will just happen to me and I'll have to stop eventually.
Yeah.
That does not happen. It's an active choice you have to make. I used to
100%.
party a lot, you know what I mean? And I
Yeah.
used to also live under the notion like, oh no, I just aged out of it.
Yeah.
But then I've seen people aging out of it at sometimes 18, sometimes 20, sometimes
Yeah.
30, sometimes 40. And I've seen people in their 60s still partying as well. I
Yeah.
have a whole friend group that I was 15 partying with 50-year-olds.
Yeah.
And they're still at it, by the way. So don't think like, oh my god, I'm just living my life right now. This is your life, and your actions right now are probably a good gauge for what's going to come about in the future.
Yeah. Unpopular opinion though, like, I just cannot get along with these people anymore.
Same.
Yeah, मेरा कोई उनके साथ ना कोई connection. There's nothing that I can talk. There's no conversation. There's nothing that we have in common. Nothing. And also I have no respect for these people anymore.
Because the thing is, right, I'm down for celebration.
Yeah.
I'm down for festivities.
Yeah.
But
occasionally.
What are you celebrating every weekend?
Exactly. Every weekend, 3 days, like Friday, Saturday, Sunday. What are you doing?
And by the way, a lot of it is not also just that. A lot of these people are unemployed. Especially, I think Pakistan has a big unemployment culture. I don't know how people get
100%.
by, but people do. You know what I mean?
But I feel like a lot of these, like, I don't know, this is gonna get me so much like hate, but depression or stressed लोग जो होते हैं, I feel like they're the ones who are partying the most.
Most, yeah. Like, और खुश भी नहीं होते.
नहीं है खुश.
I feel like, if everybody was so goofy that they're just hugging each other and they love laughing and they're saying such beautiful things and like, they're expressing themselves in a manic energy, but it's still something tasteful and artful, you know what I mean? That would be a different thing. But what I've at least seen, I don't know, I hope it's different for some people. These people are talking shit about each other.
100%.
These people are getting trashed to the point where they don't feel good in their bodies anymore.
Yeah.
They don't look good anymore.
Yeah.
I don't see the point.
Yeah, I don't see the point either. I feel like a lot of these like people just have I don't want to say it. They're just I feel like they low key don't like themselves. There's no
100%.
self love. Like if you love yourself and your body and what you're bringing to your home and your life and your job and your family, you don't do that to yourself. You don't put all these and the point that you just made that आप इतना express कर रहे हो, but you need substance to do it.
Yeah.
It's already fucked up. Like you need all that substance to be able to express your joy and your happiness and your emotion. I don't believe in a world like that anymore.
Honestly, I see this as well. Okay, just like look at what sort of environment you're creating.
Yeah.
It's I don't even like the music. You know what I mean?
I hate it.
Exactly.
It's annoying.
It's annoying music and it's so loud. Like, do you not have? I don't like going somewhere where I can't talk to people.
Yeah.
I don't like going somewhere where something is just constantly overpowering my thoughts and what I have to say. That's because I like what I think. I like what I have to say.
Yeah.
I don't want to be in a room where I have to like yell it out or like, get my like speech finished in 3 words. So the things that you were saying about them not loving themselves is true. You're like existing in an environment that really only requires very little bit from you.
Yeah.
So that probably makes you feel comfortable. But maybe you need to be uncomfortable.
But also, I feel like people really don't talk about this. Biologically, these substances are not
Good for you.
at all. They're like rewiring all of your brain, like neurons and stuff. The next day, these people wake up, they feel shitty, and for 3 whole days, they're in like some kind of a downer, some kind of a depressive state. I'm sure if you're doing it regularly, it must have some effect long term.
This person once they were just being rude to the waiter. They were having a go at all of the friends. Yeah, and we were at a dinner table, by the way, just talking about substance on Oregon party culture, and they had a few drinks. And the friend went to them like, this is not good behavior, and like you're really out of it right now. And this person goes like, oh, you guys are just thinking like this because you haven't lived in the West. Like everybody's like, this is normal in the West. I was like,
Oh, Jesus.
That's not the case. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, if you're doing that in the West, you're a chav.
Yeah.
And regardless of that, just because something is normal in the West does not mean it's holistically good for you. Like, what does that even have to do with anything? Generally, like, alcohol and stuff like that, like, damages your liver.
Yeah.
It gets you inebriated. And also, I feel like it brings out a completely different part of you.
Yeah.
It transforms you into something else.
Yeah.
And that's gotta stem from not liking who you are.
I
You know
agree.
what I mean?
I feel like it's an escape from most people unless you have a few people over, you're having a few drinks, you have a few laughs, you talk about something important, and you just go home at a disciplined time and go to bed. And if you're having drinks with food. But if you're doing any kind of substance just to get trashed, just to escape from your reality, then you are depressed. I'm sorry to say this out loud. You are not okay.
The saddest thing is when you go to some event and all they're providing is drugs, basically, and there's no sustenance. What
Yeah.
sort of friendship is that?
Yeah.
Okay, fine. We're all gonna pool in and get something that's gonna like damage our bodies. That's gonna like not be like us on 100. What sort of friendship is that? I don't get it. Like, मुझे ये evil चीज लगती है.
Yeah.
Because we used to host a lot of parties, and it started like dawning on me like, what are people taking when they're coming to your home? You know what I mean? And what is that gonna reflect back to you?
Yeah.
If you were sending people home inebriated, if you were sending people home tired, exhausted, burnt out, like
Yeah.
completely drained of all of their livelihood.
Also, like people having all these paddas and arguments and fights and just their energy just staying at your house.
Yeah.
I feel like people don't treat their own spaces and their own homes as temples. Like, I am very thinky about who comes to my room and my house now. I used to entertain all of my friends all the time,
Same.
and you know, they used to bring all kinds of people, but I don't like that anymore. I don't want extra energy in my vicinity
Yeah.
at all.
And it's also so like I see such lack of care with
Yeah.
people. You know, like what are you putting out? What are you bringing in?
Yeah.
And I don't want like people to just like come. I don't want to create spaces where there's lack of discipline.
Yeah.
I don't want to create spaces where there's like lack of like being in your like senses. I don't know. मुझे बस like I feel like I'm all for partying. It's fine. I'm not sitting over here and being judgmental, but it's not the most elevated thing to do. It's not cool.
Agreed.
It's like fine if you really enjoy it. That's fine. But like be rational about it. You know what I mean?
But also, occasionally, I'm not saying like don't do it, but I feel like people who do it every weekend.
Which is a lot over here, by the way.
Exactly. And also, people do this to stay in the in circle. It's trending and it's popular, and you're like the cool person if you're like bringing all of these substances and you're doing all of these things with your friends. You are, you know, in the it crowd. Then I just think that's really weird. I'd rather not be in the it crowd.
There are so many times where I've seen a man that's like creepy,
Yeah.
like creeps on all the women in the room,
Yeah.
and even the guys don't like him because he just
Yeah.
is like icky.
Yeah.
But he comes with alcohol.
Exactly.
He
I was
comes
just
with
gonna
drugs.
say. Yeah.
And everybody like
Yeah.
welcomes him into the place.
Yes.
He's invited.
Yes.
But there's
If
everybody's
you're
talking shit about him.
Yeah, if you're bringing all of the substance, but you're someone who's disliked, you are still welcome.
Yeah.
But if you're someone like us who goes there and really like doesn't do anything, or like, you know, हम लोग लोगों की बकवास को भी entertain नहीं करते हैं.
Yeah.
We are not welcome. We don't get invited to places because we're just, you know, we're real people basically.
100%.
हम blend in नहीं करते crowd के
अब
साथ.
नहीं होते मुझे भी जाना मैसेज आना रुक के हैं
People don't invite me to shit, and I'm so happy because like I'd rather be real, sitting at home, not doing anything, than be around these fake ass people.
Because I feel like it's also because I've been a party pooper. I've asked like what's going on, कौन आ रहे हैं, क्या जाना करना है, and it's usually alcohol and it's usually people I don't want to like bump into basically.
बस हमारा ये है ना कि we're not okay with like everyone being there and like all these creepos also being around.
So that's the biggest thing, by the way. I
Yeah.
feel like the second you start bringing morality into anything,
Yeah.
you're a bummer basically.
Exactly. 100%. I've gotten this shit at parties from people के यार तुम क्यों इतनी serious बातें कर रही हो and all of that, and I'm
I'm
like,
like, life is real, honey.
But-
I'm here for like 60 years. Like, I mean, nothing matters, but everything does kind of matter.
it
as
does
well.
matter. For me, everything matters.
Yeah,
Honestly,
yeah.
every second that I spend on this planet, it matters.
That's true. You know, the distinction is not everything matters,
Yeah.
every second matters.
It's time. I feel like time को लोग ना बहुत ज़्यादा for granted लेते हैं. Like, you have a limited amount of time on this planet.
I
Use
feel
it
like
wisely.
people feel immortal.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like people like really reject the idea of death.
But can I tell you something? I don't think so. I feel like because it's FOMO, क्या होता है? YOLO, sorry. You only live once. They want to get trashed and wasted because they only live once.
I don't get it. I don't know.
It could be either or, to be
It's
honest.
probably a little bit of both.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Everything probably is. But
Immortality. Yeah, I feel like मुझे लगता है कि अगर थोड़ी सी जिंदगी आपकी आपने इसी तरह वेस्ट करनी है, like no thank you.
yeah, I don't want to do it.
And your bodies are not going to be fit and healthy and fresh forever. Like, you know, you should really see and look at what you're putting in your bodies.
And I feel like people are beautiful.
Yeah.
And people are complex.
Yeah.
Don't dumb yourself down. Don't try to appear cool. Just be real. And stop trying to escape. If something feels bad to you,
Yeah.
there's something you have to resolve probably. Nothing is going to go away from running away from it, from laughing it out. Like, yes, 100%. Learn to regulate.
Yeah.
But don't make a lifestyle of like just regulating with things that aren't even good for you, basically.
No, I agree 100%. Most of these people are just running from something or the other. We were runners at one point as well.
Yeah,
Yeah,
100%.
not running anymore.
I'm trying not to.
Which reminds me, have you seen this like latest Love Island, Pakistani Love Island?
I haven't seen, but I've heard a lot of it. People hate it.
Yeah, it's called La Zawal Ishq, I think,
Yeah.
and I saw a few clips on the internet. It was quite cringe. But what do you think? You said morality, Isabella. Like, what do you think about the morality of this sort of show?
The thing is, right, for me, like, I feel like everything is personal at the end of the day. So मेरे जो भी views होना, like those are mine. Just like anything anybody else is doing is kind of personal as well, whatever
Yeah.
it may be. So like मुझे उससे कोई morally कोई issue नहीं है. I don't like it. Like I thought it was cringy. But people who are like trying to like people date. You know what I mean? It's like love and like whatever. Like if you're I don't know. अगर काफी लोगों को मसला ये है कि oh my god they're promoting dating. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Which is what I find.
But
stupid.
which is what our Muz Match and all these apps are also
Yeah,
promoting.
like-
I guess they're promoting it in a halal way that you end up getting married, but so is this show.
But they go even like I don't know. Like this is such a big debate that I don't want to get into.
I get it.
But like God is not you and me. God is not some other person that we know. God is not the mullahs on the screen. He's a combination of all of us. You know, he's a combination of the most conservative person in the world, and he's a combination of the most liberal person in the world as well, because he understands all of us. He's in all of our hearts. So this sitting over here and like sitting on a high horse. So आप किसी के बारे में बुरा बोल रहे हो ना, like even अगर उनका action बुरा है ना, like their action is not for you to control. What you to control is like your own self, basically. The thing I've seen is like when I see people doing something that I disagree with, I don't feel like it makes me like. I don't think sometimes it does. Sometimes I do want to sit on a high horse. Sometimes I do want to feel better than you.
Yeah.
But that's ego. And ego is also a sin at the end of the day. You know what I mean?
100%.
So the best thing to do is just wish people well.
Yeah.
Wish people like, you know,
They go, if they're not harming anyone, they're not killing people, they're not doing anything wrong. I feel like there's nothing wrong with shows like that. मेरे लिए मसला पता है क्या है? It's not the show itself. It's the fact they're spending all of this money to shoot this show when they could have spent all of this money to make art films. We have so many stories in this country. Like जो हमारा neighboring country है, I don't know if we can say their name. India. Well, we can.
Yeah.
I guess. So Indian indie films are beautiful.
I've seen some.
They are
and they're
so
really
beautiful.
nice.
I'm not about the Bollywood movies
Yeah.
because they're cringe. I can't stand them. But West के साथ तो हमारा कोई comparison नहीं है. I don't want to compare us to Hollywood at all. But Indian indie films are so beautiful. They are telling these stories from the heart of their country. We have so many more stories. Like for me, जैसे Joyland को ban करना, that was stupid. I still haven't seen, by the way.
You haven't?
No, I wanna.
Let's watch it together.
Okay, let's do it.
Yeah.
But like movies like that, I feel like banning stuff like that, that's a bit much.
It's so silly.
It's extreme. But there, I'm saying, चलो आप अगर transgender community को ना भी डालो, आप कोई इस तरह के sensitive topics को ना भी touch करो, there are so many stories that this country is exploding to tell. You know, you can make a movie about the slums of the country. You can literally there's so many beautiful stories that you could have spent money, you know, showing that instead of doing this like sort of reality show. मेरे लिए सिर्फ ये एक मसला है. We are not there yet कि हम
Check it
reality
out
TV
now.
करें.
The thing is, what do the masses actually want?
They want saas bahu. Masses don't want this, by the way.
But the masses are watching it.
They're watching it for the cringe factor. They're not actually watching it because they're actually interested
But
in it.
I'm just saying, okay, elevated stuff, maybe it might sell. But what I've usually seen is, okay, like elevated art is an acquired taste.
I agree. But देखो जैसे चुड़ैल्स जो हमारा शो था पाकिस्तानी, उसको भी आपने किसी प्लेटफॉर्म पे आने नहीं दिया because it was a little out there. I feel like we should be showing more of that. हम या तो सास बहू दिखा रहे हैं या हम अपने वेब सीरीज में ये रियलिटी शोज दिखा रहे हैं.
You know, like it's censorship.
But it is censorship. It's also what the masses want. The masses do want to see सास बहू.
But
जो
I feel
आपके
like मुझे समझ नहीं आती कि यहाँ पे ना like इतनी ज़्यादा outcry को seriously क्यों लिया जाता है? Like people have outcries about like
Because people get killed over it, honey. इस वजह से.
that is
That's
true.
the issue. Like otherwise, किसी को क्या लगे कि क्या मुल्ले क्या कह रहे हैं और ये लोग क्या कह रहे हैं.
It's
But
freaky.
yeah, but if you're gonna get killed on the street for wearing a certain kind of dress.
That girl who was like, you know, wearing
That-
urban text.
Exactly. That was so stupid. Like आप जाहिलियत देखें हमारी कौम की कि उसकी कपड़ों पे सिर्फ अरबी लिखी हुई थी. It wasn't Quranic text, and they were about to burn it alive. But yeah, it's just we are not. मैं यही तो बात कर रही हूँ हम we are not there yet
Yeah.
mentally. और हमारी masses इस चीज को भी accept ही नहीं कर सकती. But what we should focus more on is making beautiful like sort of indie movies and putting them on the internet at least. जो हम करते हैं हम कौन से बैठ के टीवी देखते हैं.
Just like this podcast.
Yeah, exactly. I think that was all of our topics.
Yeah, I
for
think
today.
so.
Yeah.
That was fun.
Yeah.
Did you have fun?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that we had several things to say.
And now we're gonna have some private conversations.
Yes, we will.
But we're gonna try to get a schedule sorted out for this and see when we're posting and let you know. Right now, we're just trying to get it done and trying to get it out there.
Yeah.
I hope you enjoyed and bye until next time.
Bye.